this time on Whatever We Want, we talk about
Marvel's What If, episode 6. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? Spoilers ahead. Major, huge, big spoilers.
Big boy spoilers.
There are time codes down in the description if you want to jump ahead. We talk everything from references to Hugh Jackman, how this could potentially lead to Red Hulk showing up in the MCU, predictions about future episodes, and more. Enjoy!
And more.
Pre-Banter, peanut butter. Daniel, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good. Just got off work. How are you doing, Jake? Other than
I'm a little
bleeding
sick
from your finger.
I'm also bleeding. Yeah, I'm in all sorts of ways. That's why I'm somehow sick. I got something, but so that's why I've got my hat on and I showered and I kind of do my hair, so I got my Timmy Turner hat on, and also my cat was just down here and he wasn't leaving, and then I tried to get him out and he cut my finger, so I'm bleeding now. But we're here, ready to talk about what we're talking about. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, there's been some things that have released words, English. Did you see the Hawkeye trailer?
Yes.
Okay, I knew you saw the Hawkeye trailer because you told me about it. Yeah. What did you think of it?
I am actually really excited for it. I love the take that they're doing on it, the whole Christmas movie kind of theme.
Yeah.
It feels like kind of like Marvel's version of Die Hard. And,
well, I think isn't Spidey also a Christmas movie?
Well, yeah, but it's also multiversal, so.
Multiversal Christmas, it's a new genre. I saw he also has hearing aids, which is more aligned with the comics and stuff, so that's interesting.
I'm pretty sure in the comics he gets hit by an explosion or something that ruptures his eardrum.
Maybe that explosion was in Endgame when Thanos blew up the Avengers complex. Maybe that was that. Because that would be loud.
The entire time for Endgame, Hawkeye
he's just deaf.
What? Giant alien thing.
When Black Panther's Clint, give it to me. He's just
what?
I'm just gonna assume you want this.
Sure. Yeah. Just throws it at him.
Yeah. Also, I'm excited. Did you know that Star Wars Visions is out next week?
Yeah.
That's stuck up on me,
I'm
really.
so excited. Yeah, dude,
I've been sitting on 2 TikToks that we made for Totally Too Real Trailer Time to just drop them because I'm it's I'll release it when it's closer to the time, and I drop one today because I was
closer to the time.
Oh yeah, it's now a week away as a day of recording this. Also, last thing, pre-banter, I wanted to say you should definitely check out our last episode if you haven't. We got to sit down with Brandon Swafford, who worked on Marvel's What If. Definitely check that out if you haven't. It's a good episode. Thanks again,
really cool
for being
guy.
on the show.
It was great talking to him. He had a lot of cool insight. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, but with the episode for Brandon, we're actually releasing something specially on our some special edition things on our YouTube where it's just cuts of specific things we talk about. So there's gonna be a short clip, a couple minutes of when we just talk about just Marvel stuff. So that's gonna be condensed. If you just want to hear about just the Marvel stuff, head on over to the YouTube. That'll be posted soon, if not already. And we'll do some other posts of super edited down things in addition to our full length episode. And if people respond well to that, we'll do more of those. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Ready for the introduction?
Yes, hit me with it.
You may want us to talk about this or that, but we don't care. We're going to talk about whatever we want. Welcome back to Everyone the Podcast Where we read, Jake and Daniel, 2 definitions from gentlemen, talk about movies, TV shows, giving behind the scenes insights, filmmaking techniques, all that jazz, and more. Also, I want to clarify that we do care about what you want us to talk about. When we made that jingle, that was what I said, but we do care what you guys think. Yeah. Also, I know in the intro, I feel like I'm going to change some things up. This is kind of on the fly, but we always in the intro, when we record at the very end, Daniel, we always say what we're talking about. And then when we get to here, we also talk about what we're talking about. So they already know what we're talking about because we're going to say it in the intro. So you just want to jump into what we're talking about?
Sure.
So what are we talking about? I mean, that's defeats the purpose. But
Okay, so we're on What If, God, what episode is this? 7? 6, 7?
6.
6. So this took some really interesting turns.
Yeah.
And I really liked the way that it ended up and kept on going.
Yeah. Shall we get into our famous segment? I almost said totally
Dialogue duty.
Dialogue duty, yeah.
Yeah.
Cue the sound clip.
And then it was really hard to sidestep that duty thing.
Thank you, Chandler. All right, great.
Oh, Chandler, yes.
Yeah, so we've got Jeffrey Wright back as the Watcher, of course. Michael B. Jordan was actually back as Killmonger. I thought he did a good job. The only thing that kind of threw me was when he was Wakanda forever. He threw a comma in there, and I was like, what?
When he started doing that over and over again,
he did it twice, and the first time I was like, yeah, it's just once, and the second time I was like, oh, this is a choice. Come on. But it could have been they're respecting Chadwick Boseman's portrayal and didn't want to step on his toes or anything. But I don't know.
But he also kind of stabbed him.
True. But yeah, so then next on the list was Jon Favreau, and I was like, yeah, my man John is third on the casting list, moving up in the world. Then after that, we had Chadwick Boseman, and then we had Angela Bassett, who played the Queen, the Black Panther like general that like led the charge. I loved seeing her like lead the charge.
Same.
She was pretty bad A. We also had Denai Guerrera, who played Okoye. She was also, I forgot to mention this last episode with Marvel Zombies, but she's also like a major player in The Walking Dead. So I thought it was funny that she was like in a zombie
In that
Marvel episode, but also was the person that like didn't know the tropes and like caused Happy to die because she made them split up kind of thing.
We
So
should
I thought
have
that was
stayed together.
Ironic.
Yeah.
We also had Andy Serkis, who played Claw. Ulysses Claw.
I knew he was coming back. Like he had to.
I love his character. There was one part where he said, like, I think right when Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger's getting off the plane, he meets Claw before they go on that road trip, and Claw's like, "Oh yes, like I'm seeing my vibraniums put to good use." And there was like one thing he said that like just gave me huge like Gollum vibes, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like a little bit of Gollum slipped through, and I was like, "That's kind of cool," because like he played Gollum, of course.
Like one frame of the animation that just shifts over to Gollum.
Yeah. We also had Don Cheadle as Rhodey. Paul Bettany was back as Jarvis. And then we had John Kani. I butchered this name every time we say it, but he played T'Chaka, Black Panther, T'Challa's dad. We had Leslie Bibb back again. She's getting some work out of this show as the reporter. So I thought that was cool. I thought it was interesting, actually, though, that we didn't see Hammer in this episode. I'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I was thinking the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah. We also had Beth Hoyt, who replaced Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper, and we had Mick Wingert, who we talked about before. He replaced RDJ as Stark, and we had Kif Van Den Hoeville, who played Obadiah Stane. I'm probably butchering that name. I looked him up. He was also in La La Land as apparently a coffee shop owner, so good for him. Bazinga Kachow. We're out of the segment. Dialogue, dude. That catches you off guard every week.
That gets me every time.
And I love though that I just have like so little energy that it's still that got you. Like I was like Bazinga Kachow. Okay.
I think that adds to it. It's just like because those catchphrases are usually like, you know, peppy, and then you're just like Bazinga.
All right, so yeah, let's jump into things. What do you think, just overall?
So overall, I felt like we've been through some of the other episodes where things didn't really like play out realistically per se.
What do you mean?
Like it's Marvel, obviously, right? It's comics and superheroes is not based in realism, right? But you're still taking parts of reality, and whether it be fundamental things of science when we get to like more advanced things, like say like multiversal. Quantum math. And stuff
what
like
episode
that.
are you talking about that like wasn't?
I don't know. T'Challa's Star-Lord maybe, or like
I don't know.
Like things like it was cool. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. Like it was an amazing story.
So you like that this episode was more like
but,
based in reality? You're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Like, it felt like things were
The giant anime mech
procedure.
robots. Yes, reality. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, but we've seen like the robots, like you said before with Hammer.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's already like parts of that we've seen. Right.
Right.
So that also kind of builds on how we perceive reality to be more realistic in that way, I guess. But this progressed in a way that seemed to, you know, logically make sense. You know, like it made reasoning to like, okay, it makes sense as to why Killmonger would do these things and try to manipulate these people the way he is.
Yeah, he definitely had I like that his motivation was the same that it was in Black Panther, but he went about it a completely different way. So what do you think like the what if event was that like caused what I mean we know the what if event, but like what caused Killmonger to like be at this place at this time?
Well,
Did he just happen upon some information that he didn't in the original MCU?
Yeah, it literally could have just been that. Like if he knew that Stark was in that area somehow, then that could have.
Yeah,
that's an opportunity for him, right?
Yeah,
like you said, he still had the same mindset and same drive, right? But he didn't have the same opportunities as he had before. So this just changes things.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's also interesting that we just keep seeing more and more of like the Watcher in detail. Like it started out like it's just at that like silhouette, and now we like the animation is getting more detailed, and he's getting closer to interfering.
He's not only getting closer; he's also getting more attached. I mean, you can see it just in his expression.
Yeah. I noticed that when he was watching Killmonger look at the sunrise or sunset or whatever on that
He
mountain.
looked genuinely sad. Like he was
and he
just
was
like,
it's like eyes were like twitching and like, not twitching, but just like he had more emotion in
Yeah, like-
than episode 1.
which is weird to think about because it shows that the Watcher is getting more. He's kind of going the Sith route of the Watchers, right? Because he's getting more connected and
That actually reminds me. I was thinking that Killmonger reminds me a lot of Palpatine in this episode because he's like playing a war on and just he's
both
leading a war on
sides.
both fronts, so he can't lose. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I think it might go that like the Watcher, he's gonna interfere like the last episode because the way it's kind of going, there's a lot of cliffhangers, especially these last few episodes. And I think, do you have a fruit snack pouch or something?
Yeah, these are the fruitable like apple and Eve things. I had one over here,
Nice.
but I drank all of this one.
have two.
So I was
Oh.
prepared, so I had another one.
Okay. Anyways, back to the tank. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think that there's theories that like the last episode,
He's
all
gonna
these loose
interfere.
ends are going to be tied up by like him interfering. Like, well, because there still are like there's actually a new trailer that just dropped, a mid-season trailer, and we see Dark Doctor Strange with like a
Party
with
Thor.
a version of Thor with like
Yeah.
some weird vest on, and they're talking about the zombies. So and like that wasn't obviously in the zombie episode. So either that's like a misdirect or we will go back to the zombies somehow.
I told you. I thought they're gonna be combining. I feel like again, this is gonna be like some kind of multiversal convergence story. I totally
Okay.
forgot to bring up before. There's that mobile game. It's like Marvel's, not Marvel's Champions, but it's like Marvel's something else.
Raid Shadow Legends, and that brings us into our
It's
sponsor. No, I'm just kidding, we're
practically
not
their
sponsored.
version of Raid, but that's the thing. But in that game, it literally is a similar kind of story, and where it's like the multiverse goes out. There's like some catastrophic thing that's going on, and they're trying to prevent the convergence from going on, where the universes are annihilating each other. So
Interesting.
I feel like technically we're now already seeing that in media from one view. So now we might be seeing it through like this animation and eventually back into the films.
Yeah. Speaking of just the cliffhangers, we also have the cliffhanger of this episode. Like it feels like it just like ended like in the middle
Yeah.
of the episode, pretty much. Like Shuri and Pepper are like about to team up, and like it feels like it's the beginning of like the next act.
Oh, the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, like we're done. It's like what? But yeah, I'm wondering because like all the cliffhangers we've seen, like we've had the zombie one, we've had this one. Dark Doctor Strange wasn't really a cliffhanger, but like he might escape, and apparently we'll see more of him. The third episode, the murder mystery, like it ends with Fury getting the Captain America out of ice and Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel's there.
Cap
Yeah.
squared. What would their team name be? Because they're not the Avengers. They're like the Captains or something.
That sounds more like a band name.
Dude, that'd be sick. I would see that. Speaking of like Rogers the Musical, we got Rogers the Musical and the Captains.
What- or
oh,
what if
Captain,
they-
my Captain.
I feel like they could do something with pirates too because of Fury's eye patch. So that,
Oh
what I
my
mean?
gosh. The Captains and the First Mate or something. I don't know. The pirates. The pirates who don't do anything. Just bring it to VeggieTales. Anyways, back to the tank. So I did notice some differences between the first Iron Man and this one. Like in the very beginning when he's like in the military vehicle and the guy asks for a photo, it is a bigger camera than he
Yeah.
has in the original Iron Man. So maybe that flash of the camera cued Killmonger or something to come in. Also, he had a different phone. Like in the original Iron
Yeah.
Man, he had like,
It was
a
like a
type
pop-up.
one. It was like a pop-up. And this one, it was a flip one.
Flip.
So
And
I don't know.
honestly, that could have been just done for animation purposes, but also at the same time, like it is a different technical universe. So I don't know.
Right. I also like that it showed really briefly just like how this event of him not becoming Iron Man just affected all of his character growth we saw throughout the MCU, and it just made me appreciate a lot more how we've seen Tony Stark like grow and change
Like,
over
develop.
the MCU.
Yeah.
Over like however many years since 2008. And then there was one thing, this is like rabbit hole I went down. So when he's giving that press conference and there's one guy that stands up and is like, he says his name's Harry Whittington, British Post. He's a reporter from the British Post. And he's the guy to ask if he learned any lessons in Afghanistan. I was like, that seems like an interesting name. I'll look if that's anything. And it wasn't really anything in the MCU, but apparently there was someone named Harry Whittington who was a real person in real life and was accidentally shot in the face by Vice President Dick Cheney in 2006 while hunting quail. And then he survived, and he's apparently still alive and 94. So I just thought that was
Where in the face
interesting.
was he shot? Like, Jesus.
I don't know.
Like it was like,
From what I read, it was like, I think the like right side of his, I think it might have just grazed the side of his face and was more like his shoulder, I think. I don't know.
oh, okay.
I'm not a
It's still like,
Harry Whittington expert.
imagine going down saying that though. Like, I mean, he's still alive, but like, yeah, I was shot by a president.
Are there any characters that have like shot in the face or something in the MCU that could be a hint to, a scoop?
I'm trying to think.
Two-Face confirmed.
Taser face.
Taser face. Yeah. Bullet face. Anyways, back to the tank. So I feel like people could come at this be like, I feel like it's dumb that Tony Stark trusted Killmonger so fast, but I think there is like merit behind it. Like I feel like after Afghanistan in both universes, Tony realized that he needs some sort of protection. And in our universe, that it came in the form of Iron Man. He did it himself. In this universe, he was desperate and was just like, this man saved me. I'll use him as my protection.
Yeah.
Also, they bond over like both losing their dads and trying to make them proud. So I feel like they're both really smart guys. So I feel like he trusts him quickly, but it makes sense in my mind.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I feel like again, also at the same time, this is Tony from a different universe. So like, even if you are going to be like, oh, that's not how Tony. I mean, it's things are different, you know.
Yeah. And speaking of them being different, I think it's interesting how the drones are so similar between Iron Man 2's Hammer's idea and Killmonger's idea, and how willing in each universe Tony is to help each person. Like, he doesn't respect Hammer and doesn't like him at all, so he doesn't want to help Hammer, but he really respects and likes Killmonger, even though the ideas are practically very similar.
The same. Yeah.
He's willing to help Killmonger because he has that relationship with him, which is just like a lesson in life. I feel like you're more willing to help out your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also, the drones look very like anime inspired, and also like Michael B. Jordan
I love that part.
in real life is just like a big anime fan.
They actually made that canon then? Like he's like, oh yeah, I love anime.
Yeah, but also I think there's been rumors that his Killmonger's suit is like a reference to Dragon Ball Z, like one character, like
the
Vegeta or something.
Vegeta?
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god,
if you look
Jake,
at it, like,
you're butchering it.
I've never watched Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry, but like Vegeta, yeah, his outfit looks very similar. Like, if you
yeah,
look
it's
that
like
up.
this. It's the same plating, not like
Yeah.
the same material, but it's like definitely the same.
Same
like
color
shape
scheme
design
and
stuff.
everything too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love because I literally thought I'm like that thing really looks like a freaking badass Gundam, and I'm like, and then he said it. He's like, this is a really expensive one. I'm like, yeah. This is like, he's like, I love anime. I'm like, that's so freaking funny.
Yeah.
And they like continued with the actual design. And I also love how they were showing like the process and technically how much faster Tony was better at it compared to like how we saw with Iron Man 2. And like, Hammer like going through like that one video where Hammer had like the guy in the suit and like got him in half. Oh man, that's brutal.
I liked that part, seeing Killmonger like fighting and like training the robot. It reminded me a lot of, have you seen Real Steel with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah,
it reminded me of that. So could that be a connection that Hugh Jackman's coming back to the MCU? Confirmed.
the version of Hugh Jackman we get is him from Real Steel.
From Real Steel, he's just a guy that can kind of fight. That would suck. That'd be another like Evan Peters Quicksilver from WandaVision moment. Like, he's just the same actor, but like a guy. Like,
you seen that meme of like from Nick Fury going into like the what was it, that one Loki episode where like he gets saved by like his other variants, right? He's like, come with us if you want to live. But it's like Nick Fury, and he's like mother, and then the rest of them say F and then it's like Frozone. It's like
I haven't seen that, but that's funny.
It's like
his guy from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, imagine that.
Is all you know Frozone? All of his Samuel Jackson.
No, I'm trying to remember the ones that they had in the meme.
The guy from like
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch. But I'm saying, imagine that with Hugh Jackman. So you'd have like there's that one with the circus.
The guy from Night at the Museum.
Night Museum.
Man, all these Marvel actors in Night at the Museum. Except I think he played himself in Night at the Museum. Like, he was pretending to be, he was an actor like on a stage, and then like the guy came in and he like did like a Wolverine thing.
Yeah,
like that,
and they're like,
that
what's he
movie
doing?
was like a fever dream.
Yeah, it was.
We should do the Night at the Museum, cover those episodes.
Oh, Les Mis! Imagine Les Mis version of him.
Oh my gosh. He's just singing.
Come with us if you want to live.
He's a Terminator. Terminator the musical. Maybe he plays Rogers in Rogers the musical. That'd be funny.
Man, that'd be so great.
I don't know if anyone knows this Rogers the musical thing, but if you haven't seen the Hawkeye trailer, there's a Steve Rogers the musical on Broadway, so that's why we keep referencing
I
that.
feel like they're eventually going to make that like an actual thing. I'm not going to lie.
It reminded me a lot of Hamilton, just like the promo stuff, the posters,
Yeah.
the color scheme and everything. But that'd be cool. Anyways, back to the tank.
Back to the tank. Yeah.
So, where were we? Yeah, Dick Cheney shooting that guy in the face.
Bullet face. That's where we
Real
left off.
Steel. Yeah. Bullet face. I love the throwaway line. Wait, if we could miniaturize an arc reactor. No, that's a dumb idea.
That's not an idea. Yeah.
I really like the music at this next part, but just throughout, but like it kind of stuck out to me when we got to Claw. So like a lot of Killmonger's themes were like had like Wakanda undertones, but also like modern feels, and that I think was the case in Black Panther 2, and I'm glad they kind of continued that in this version. But it's also interesting they kind of married that and meshed it with Iron Man's world, which is more like exciting, like he's a cool guy and more modern, I guess. I don't know. I just kind of noticed that. I thought that was
No, I totally agree. I feel like it was a good mix there.
Yeah. And then we get Andy Serkis. Did you know he did mocap for this?
Really? I'm not surprised, honestly.
No, he didn't
actually.
But they wouldn't surprise me. He didn't. I just lied to you.
Oh, no!
But I would surprise me if he did.
That's more surprising that he didn't, honestly.
I know. I saw a video. Someone was like, he probably came in and was like, yeah, like, I'll do the mocap. And they're like, Andy, we'll just like draw you. And he's like, no, I'll do the mocap. So like, they probably just have like footage of him just like running around alone like for this that they just never used. Anyways, I really like the lighting in this fight scene with T'Challa, like as
Same.
Black Panther, and like the muzzle flashes like reflecting off of them.
It was so great. I also love the upstepping or the pacing up with his animate. Like,
yeah, can you
in
remind
live
our
action-
audience what upstepping is?
So upstepping traditionally in film is, say you're doing a fast action, right? You're doing it at like 24 frames per second, so you're recording at that frame rate. What you're able to do is if you're able to cut out some frames to make the action go faster. So instead of it, say like you're going from here to here, right? And you have like here, here, and here. What you can do is literally just cut out the middleman and just go, and it makes the action feel so much more faster.
Yeah, we did that I started doing that for the Star Wars thing that we filmed to make the clashes hit. I think we talked about this before, but
yeah,
I just didn't release that.
Yeah.
I think Corridor Crew talks about that a lot. They actually just had Seth
seeing
Rogen
that
on their
in
show.
Animation, yeah, they did. That was crazy.
Yeah,
I loved how
that
they
out.
were bringing that out.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying it's crazy.
But
seeing
no,
that animation.
I loved seeing how like they're able to exaggerate it even more.
Yeah, we talked about this in the Captain Carter episode because I remember I used the clip of her smashing the window of the cockpit as they were doing that plane scene, and like literally, it's like the first one frame's here, and the next frame is like she's punched him
in
already,
the face.
and I was like, whoa, yeah, it has that punch, that oomph.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, then Killmonger lives up to his name and kills Rhodey and T'Challa. And then he goes and kills Stark. Well, like there's that whole fight with the mech. I love that also in just live action, in animation and live action. Like in animation, Michael B. Jordan is still like just used as eye candy. Like 2 seconds into that fight, like his shirt is just ripped
literally
off.
his whole shirt just got ripped off.
And I know why
like,
they're doing it because of like to show like the scars and everything.
Scars,
to RDJ's or not RDJ, Tony Stark's another one. But I was just like, dang, like even in animation, this man cannot lose.
I also liked how in that fight they showed like how versatile like it's Killmonger, you know, like he still has the same skill sets and stuff like that we saw before. Even though it is a couple years earlier, like he's still trained and like a badass.
Yeah, I wonder like if you would count all of those scars if he has less than he does in Black Panther. You know, because like he would have less time to accumulate kills.
So he just has less, like his arms aren't done then. Were his arms done actually?
I don't know.
That's something we should check on.
I'm not gonna count the freaking dots.
No. I'm saying if it's like if it's like a drastic change.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I remember before he had him like all.
He's
the way
like
down his arms.
he's only up to like short sleeve scars.
Yeah.
He's working to long sleeves. He has like jorts on of scars.
Scar Jorts.
Yeah.
Oh man. I also love how Tony was like. Again, it's young Tony, and it's also arrogant Tony. So like, he doesn't leave the room. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't even pick up the spear as the mech is fighting him.
Yeah.
He just stands there and like watches and like.
Also, where he got stabbed, I don't know if that would like kill you. Like it was like his shoulder.
I mean, it depends on
Maybe
I don't
broke
know if
like an
there's
artery or
there.
something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I don't know. Either way. But yeah, then he goes to he plays Palpatine and plays both sides and like kills Claw and brings him to Wakanda. And
Which I thought was amazing how that's like the one thing that like stayed the same.
yeah,
It's like Claw dying was always a part of his plan.
yeah, just happened earlier. But yeah, so then T'Chaka's alive still because the UN bombing didn't happen. So then like that war with the mechs happened, and that is just visually like stunning, like beautiful. That final battle.
I was thinking about the irony of it, right? Like,
because Iron Man, I get it.
well,
I'm sorry.
well, no, what I was going to say is like, I mean, war is terrible, you know, like it's a tough, terrible thing to have to like see and go through. But in the way that it's being illustrated here, and also just mainly in like American media,
right?
So there's always like a beauty to it. There's
right.
like a beauty to like the chaos.
Well, they also it's Disney Plus, so like they probably don't want to show.
Yeah, they can't show too much,
it.
obviously.
But yeah, there is like definitely. I think that's opening a door to a very intense conversation about like the education of like trauma and stuff. I thought it was also interesting, just like not to get like political or anything, but like the time this episode dropped, like right after it was announced that like we're pulled out of Afghanistan, like completely. Yeah. Or like there's still people in, like whatever that announcement was. Yeah, I thought that was interesting, just the timing of that. Which I think is the case with a lot of Marvel things. I actually saw an interview with the Russo bros where they were talking about just the political implications in Civil War, and like that, like they couldn't obviously predict what was going to happen in the world, but like it aligned very closely with when Civil War was dropped with like certain things that were happening in the world. So it was just really interesting that like media that obviously can't predict that. It's just like
is like aligning to it.
Yeah. I also think that so it was obvious. I think his plan, like Killmonger's plan, like when he powered up the drones, was like he wanted to be the Black Panther and prove his worth as
definitely
a fighter. But I think that could be his downfall if we were to continue this, because there was that one shot, especially at the end, where like he like sits standing on top of the drone and stabs it, and then the drone powers down. I think that shot, like if Jarvis is able to like record everything, I feel like that shot could be used against him. That like Pepper, like Sherry can show that to Pepper, or Pepper can just recover that from Jarvis and be like, look, this guy was fighting the drones, like he's not on our side, kind of thing. And that could get the government, like get one side to kind of go against him, maybe. So
I mean, I feel like at this point he's already done with the American side. His whole point was to get to Wakanda and just be the Black Panther, to gain that power, because he knows that Wakanda is more powerful. So I feel like he's done with America, and he knows if America comes at him, he's just like, well, we're Wakandan. We have vibranium. We have more power.
Wakanda forever. What do you think?
Sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, what do you think of this? Is a theory I thought of this. So like Ross, it might be like upset. General Ross might be upset at this outcome and like want to keep going at Wakanda. Like he seems to have like a lust to like a bloodlust to go after Wakanda. Do you think this could motivate him to like do some risky experiments and could ultimately lead to him becoming Red Hulk potentially? That
could totally happen. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Wakanda, and especially with what they've seen with, I mean, again, part of powering the drones was using vibranium, and the fact that they're able to source that from Wakanda, that shows how much of an asset that they have, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they were also defeated, that shows how much even more of an asset and how much of a value that Wakanda, not only as a land, but also as a resource with the vibranium that's underneath the entire country.
Well, now they also have all the vibranium back from all the drones, which was pretty much the vibranium we knew about in the world, except for Cap's shield.
So now, if Ross wants to do that, he would have to do something like that to be able to counteract that.
Yeah, I like that theory.
Yeah.
Okay. If it happens, we called it. It's interesting we haven't seen anything with Red Hulk in this long.
I know, because we've seen so much of Ross.
Ross has been in it since the second movie. Oh, I saw a TikTok the other day that it was like, I create a list of things we can do, and it was like all the Marvel movies, and he was like, I outlined all the fun things in red, and then the sound is like, everything's in red, but like you can see the Incredible Hulk is the only thing not in red.
Not in red?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyways, Killmonger becomes Black Panther, and then Shuri and Pep team up, and there's a cliffhanger again. So yeah, that was the episode.
Well, you forgot to mention when he became Black Panther.
He goes to the tree of life.
Astral plane.
I really want that
And,
shirt that Brandon had. Like, I want to get that shirt.
Same. That was an amazing shirt. But I love the conversation these two had. Because instead of talking to his father, he was talking to T'Challa.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if his dad is on that plane.
He might have been one of the other Panthers in that tree.
Maybe. But do you need that, like, goop to, like, become, like, that purple liquid to go to that plane if you die? Yeah. Did his dad?
Well,
I forget if his dad.
Not if you die. No, if you die and you're Wakandan, that's where you go.
I think it's only for kings though. That place. I don't know. But yeah, it is interesting. We don't see his dad. Maybe he will see his dad, or maybe after T'Challa was done, he was like, "All right, Dad, where you at?" or something. I don't know.
It's definitely not just for kings, because like we saw his dad in the MCU version of it, right?
We did.
Remember in Black Panther when he.
Oh yeah, and he was in the apartment, not in the tree. Yeah. I remember that. I haven't seen Black Panther in a while. We gotta keep going on our MCU, like.
We gotta keep on going with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I really like the conversation that the two had, and how T'Challa was like he knew he would like. I guess he would have to have accepted that he died, you know. but
whether he wanted to or not, he's
he's dead. So, but just straight up, just trying to give him some wisdom, because he knows that he's in a place that's not good.
Yeah, I do like how noble. Like I feel like T'Challa could have easily been like, dude, you suck. Like
exactly, like he could have had more anger.
Why'd you kill him? But yeah, he's trying to still guide him in this place, which I think is very mature of him. But yeah. Anything else you wanted to talk about for that?
I felt like the way that they illustrated, again, the whole animation style and everything's on peak. But like that also, just that plane had a whole different feel to it, and I love how they incorporated it.
Yeah, I think we only have 3 episodes left, like 7, 8, and 9 for this season, so I'm interested to see where things go. Ready for the Patron Shout-Outs?
Yeah.
Cue that stars music. Boosh. Got Patron Lori, Frank, Rick, Lisa, Evan, Tony. Thank you so much for punching the tier. You can see the shout-out if you want to support us over on Patreon. Link is down in the description. You get episodes early, special perks, all cool benefits. You get to vote on episodes, topics occasionally, and get bonus episodes occasionally. Yeah. Thank you to everyone who supports us on Patreon. If you want to leave a review, how about I think for this comment review, you should leave a review on what episode that we've seen so far would you like to see continued, if you had to choose just one. So like the cliffhangers we've really had are the zombie one, this one, Killmonger, and then also kind of the murder mystery one, because it kind of left off with Cap and Cap Squared, the pirates. Yeah. So which one of those would you like to see develop? And we will shout out those comments. I actually have a comment here on one of our latest YouTube videos for our What If Zombies episode 5. The amazing Carson said, "I really can't believe that people really didn't like What If. It's really good in my opinion." I totally agree. There's always going to be haters, but I really like this episode. So thank you, the amazing Carson, for being amazing and leaving a comment. We really appreciate it.
And for being a Carson. You're a Carson. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry this again was like a shorter episode. I'm just not feeling the best, and but I appreciate your patience and everything. We also had an episode earlier this week, so like you got double episodes, like come on. Ready for the introduction?
Yep, tell me when.
We
just talked about whatever we want to talk about, and now we're done. I started that off as if I was doing the intro. I was gonna start off as like
the tone,
like the in the intro where I'm like, this time. But I was ahead of myself. I just started doing it. I'm like, wait, this is wrong.
Thank you everyone for listening. Really, really, really appreciate it. We'll be back next week for What If episode 7. We might even start talking about visions and stuff. Make sure to follow all of our social media and everything. We've been posting a lot on YouTube. I'm actually posting some highlight clips.
And again, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do all the social media things.
Goodbye.
And thank you again from our non-sponsor raid, Shadow Legends.